This week, NASCAR made an announcement that not only shocked the entire racing community, but the sports community and the world as a whole. NASCAR announced that they are banning the Confederate flag at all NASCAR events, facilities, and properties. NASCAR released a statement that said, quote, "The presence of the Confederate flag at NASCAR events runs contrary to our commitment to providing a welcoming and inclusive environment for all fans, our competitors, and our industry. Bringing people together around a love for racing and the community that creates it is what makes our fans and sports special. The display of the Confederate flag will be prohibited from all NASCAR events and properties," unquote. This is a groundbreaking moment for NASCAR. This is a moment in which not only NASCAR has changed, but a moment that the perception of NASCAR has changed in the hearts and minds of non-NASCAR fans all over the world. Non-NASCAR fans are talking about the sport today. Non-NASCAR reporters and sports reporters are talking only about NASCAR today. Non-NASCAR fans today have said that they will now watch the sport because of taking this stance. It's time that we all take this stance. This is a powerful stance on racism, and NASCAR might lose some fans over this. However, they might gain some fans over this as well. And it's not really about losing fans or gaining fans. It's about doing what's right. One instance about somebody who's taking a stance and exercising his right of freedom is Ray Ciccarelli. Now, who is Ray Ciccarelli? Well, he is a NASCAR Truck Series driver with 18 starts since 2017, none in the 2020 season as of yet, no wins, no poles, no top fives, a single top 10 that came last season at Michigan with a 9th place finish. Ciccarelli posted on Facebook this week, saying in part, quote, "I don't believe in kneeling during anthem, nor taking people's rights to fly whatever flag they love," unquote. Ciccarelli also insists that he could care less about the Confederate flag and claims that he's standing up for people who take pride in it, believing that the love of the flag alone doesn't make somebody a racist. Now, that may or may not be true, but let's really look at the history of the Confederate flag and what it actually stood for and what it stands for today. Supporters of the flag continue to use it, claiming it as a symbol of Southern ancestry and heritage, as well as representing a distinct and independent cultural tradition of the Southern United States from the rest of the country. For some supporters, the Confederate flag represents only the past era of Southern sovereignty. Here are the facts. The Civil War ended on April 9th, 1865, when General Robert E. Lee surrendered his Confederate troops to the Union's General Ulysses S. Grant. The Confederate flag was a flag of rebellion. It was a flag of destruction, a destruction of the United States itself, of the United States people, and everything that the United States currently and always has stood for: freedom. This flag was a flag of rebellion that wanted to destroy the United States of America and the people that call themselves Americans. Subsequent generations turned it into a kind of Southern pride based on misinformation and disinformation. In other words, propaganda. Some who support the flag want to hide behind it and claim that it means freedom or unity to them, absolving them of the connection to what it actually stood for. Not only does it stand for the subjugation and pain of the African American community, it stands for the destruction of the United States of America, and still does. Robert E. Lee himself stated that he did not want any monuments created in his name for the Confederate Army. Why? Because it represented failure and pain. You look across the southern states of the United States of America, and the fact is, most monuments were built in the 50s and 60s, coincidentally, around the same time as the civil rights movement in this country. Why? Intimidation. Southern sympathizers who remembered the Civil War and who still hold racist and prejudiced values wanted to intimidate those that the Civil War tried to repress. To be clear, this is not a change to the America you'd know. This is the removal of a symbol that tried and failed to destroy the America you know and love. It's a flag of treason, racism, destruction, and failure. Now the question is, do I, NASCAR, or anyone else for that matter, have a right to tell anyone that they cannot wave the Confederate flag or use the Confederate flag in any way, shape, or form? No. We live in a free country, and that free country allows us to do whatever we want, within reason. It is not illegal, yet, to fly the Confederate flag or to use the Confederate flag in any way. However, as a private business, NASCAR can say and mandate that is not prohibited on their land and in their sport. I applaud NASCAR for this. To those who say it is NASCAR's right as a private business to go out of business, I will say this. Wednesday night's Martinsville Cup race that took place 3 hours after NASCAR announced that they were banning the Confederate flag had a ratings increase of 101%. So the evidence points to the fact that most NASCAR fans and the country support this decision by NASCAR. To those like Racist Sorelli who do not stand by NASCAR and who choose to leave the sport because of this decision, the NASCAR community will get by just fine without drivers like Racist Sorelli finishing 28th once every 10 NASCAR truck races. And that starting position in the field will be given to somebody in the ARCA series or late modified series who really wants to be in NASCAR. It's unfair to place our failures solely on NASCAR's decision to stand up for racial injustice in America. Personally, I stand with NASCAR's decision to ban the Confederate flag and stand against racism, not only in America, but in this world. There's no room for racism, prejudice, or hate here. If missing the Confederate flag at a NASCAR event is something that you're truly going to miss that will prevent you from following, watching, and participating in NASCAR races, I have a simple question to ask you. What is wrong with this flag? Does this flag not stand for freedom? Does this flag not represent America enough for you? Or is something more needed? And if something more is needed, it's time for reflection to understand what exactly this is really all about. For now, I stand with NASCAR's decision and with the Black Lives Matter movement moving forward. For the American Racing Network, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see ya at the track.